Against doctor's orders, Tupac Shakur checked himself out of the hospital less than 24 hours after being shot 5 times on the way to a Manhattan recording studio.
Tupac Shakur secures one clean legal victory this year as he is dismissed of assault charges brought against him when he allegedly shot at 2 off-duty Atlanta cops on Halloween last year. The case was dismissed due to insufficient evidence. More controversy surrounding Tupac Shakur.
Meanwhile, in Tupac news...
He was one of the most successful rappers ever to make it out of the ghetto, but the hood would never travel far from his mind and heart. It was what he knew and loved, and it would eventually become the foundation of his raps and his rage. Born to Afeni Shakur, a Black Panther, Tupac never knew who his father was. A reality, he says, often left him feeling empty and unmanly. Tupac the child grew up on the streets of New York, but Tupac the artist was really born in Maryland at the Baltimore School for the Arts. It was there that he wrote his first rap and discovered his love for acting. He couldn't have known it at the time, but this school was the first step up his ladder of success. And teachers felt something was special about Tupac.
The school is sad that he died, and in fact died in such a violent way. But it does say something from our point of view that we thought of him as an artist.
Tupac never graduated from the school. After his junior year at 17, he moved with his family to a suburb of Oakland, California, a high school dropout. He says that's when he got off one track and onto the one that would dominate the remaining years of his life, what he called the thug life, and one he learned all too well. The guns, the drugs, the positives of toughness and street smarts. He lived that life, and when he started recording, built his career on these images, ones which the inner city cheered, but white America feared. He was only 25 years old when he died, but his influence will live on for years to come, because Tupac Shakur brought light to the hidden darkness of the ghetto, its people and lifestyle. Although he made it out, he never forgot his friends he left behind. And that's his true legacy fans will forever remember about him.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened to you when you were growing up. Your parents were in the Black Panther Party.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like their job.
Yeah, it was my mother was in the Black Panther Party. She was like at a high position, which was like unheard of because, of course, there was sexism even in the Panthers. So, and my stepfather at the time, Mutulu Shakur, he was also like a well-known, like revolutionary. True, all of my roots to the struggle are real deep. And then my godfather, Geronimo Pratt, you know, he was like had a top official rank position with the Panthers on the West Coast.
Right, and we just mentioned he's, of course, serving a life sentence right now.
Yeah.
Your mom was carrying you when she went to jail the first time. That's a very interesting story in itself. What happened to her? Why was she in jail?
Because, like, you know, there's racism. So when the Panthers hit, the government panicked, and they had a thing called a COINTELPRO, and they felt like the Panthers were detrimental to American society, so they raided every Panthers house, especially the ones who they felt like could do the most damage as an orator. So my mother was 9 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant. They put a match to the door and said, "Fire, fire." And, you know, it's like 5 in the morning, so my mother opened the door and they just burst in, put a shotgun to her pregnant belly, and put a gun to her head and said, "Don't move, die. You're under arrest."
What does it do to a young man like yourself, though, when all of your heroes, your mother, your father, whom has passed away, he was incarcerated as well, your godfather, all of your heroes have been to jail.
And they weren't all Panthers. My father was my stepfather was a Panther. My father was a gangster, a straight-up ignorant, you know, hustler. But he loved the fact that the Panthers, my mother told me is that it was a one-night stand. But he loved the fact that the Panthers would go to jail and wouldn't snitch. They were true to each other, you know, as women, it was men. And that was a one-night stand. That's how I came to be, you know, out of the love for black people. So that's how I got to live, and that's how I have to die. And that's how my music has to be, and my acting, and my producing, and my interviews, everything has to be for the love of black people.